Guys, thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is July 22nd, and isn't that just something? You get swept by one of the worst teams in the league, and then you turn around and beat one of the best. Well, that's the effect of Paul Skenes. Happy Shark Week, everybody. I will let you know that this is the second time I will run through the beginning of this show because it didn't record the first time. And I noticed it about halfway when I looked to see how far I've gone. And yeah, this is just the way that things go for me sometimes. Love it. Love it. I didn't click it, I think. Because then I clicked it again and I was like, it didn't work again. And then I clicked it again and it worked. So I don't really know what happened there. Anyway, Paul Skenes gets an individual win last night. First time since May. Sure, I'll bite at that. Oh, get it? Shark Week. Look, if you're watching the video, Shark Week's on in the background. Love it. Love Shark Week. So this wins thing, this has been a thing this season. But he's 16-11 on his career, so it wasn't a thing last year when he was 11-3. Moving on. Last night, Paul Skenes went 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. His season ERA down to 191. His career ERA in 44 starts is 194. Career whip, that's 260 innings pitched, 0.93. You may have seen this stat going around. If not, then you'll be hearing this for the first time, but he's the only player to ever have 300 plus strikeouts and a sub-2 ERA after his first 44 starts. Now, I tried looking this stuff up. I came home, I was looking it up. I was like, my goodness, those numbers are low. So I looked this up. I said, I was mostly keying in on whip, but then realizing that StatHead, the baseball reference tool StatHead, doesn't have whip when you're looking at the span finder tool. So we need to get that on there. But so I was looking up the ERA numbers myself and I was trying to find this. And for whatever reason, StatHead, I kept getting a span finder or I kept getting timeout errors on the span finder. So I wasn't able to find it myself. However, I went to Twitter and searched for 44 Skenes and found the numbers. It's amazing what this dude has done since breaking into the league. It's amazing. There are good players, and then there are dudes like this. Andrew McCutchen was our last dude, but he was on the other side of the ball, and he wasn't doing things that no one else has ever done. The numbers keep piling up. The historic feats and the number of stats that just end with Paul Skenes, that's the list. How many times have you seen that? Well, here's this, and this. Here's how many people, here's the list of people who have done this. Paul Skenes. That's it. Or that's the list. It's one guy. So this is just the latest one. 307 strikeouts in his first 260 innings of his career. That's 44 games, 16-11 with a 1.94 ERA and a 0.93 whip. Now, I'm not sure if Zach Wheeler pitched tonight. I know that the Phillies won in, you know what, I should look it up, but I know that they won in extra innings. The Phillies did in extra innings. And that's not the game list. Anyway, extra innings on a catcher's interference call with bases loaded. Totally crazy. He did pitch today, and he went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. So the numbers for Zach Wheeler on the season, 2.39 ERA and 20 starts. That's 128 innings pitched and 164 strikeouts. That's one more inning than Paul Skenes has thrown. And Paul Skenes has 137 and he has 164. 0.88 whip, Skenes 0.91. So yes, Skenes is still preventing more runs. And he's doing that, you know, he's got one extra start than Wheeler and one less inning than Wheeler. Wheeler's a horse, right? He's a veteran. He's been able to go and go deeper into games. But those numbers are very good for both players. This Cy Young race should be really exciting. And we don't even know, like, will there be somebody else kind of stepping into this race too? But what a race between these two guys. And just incredible. What Skenes has done this season and so far to start his career is ridiculous. To be stacked up against one other guy for a race for the Cy Young like this. Like, you just don't see stuff like this happen. It's incredible. So the offense got a crooked number in the second inning, and that held up. They were able to get the job done against the Detroit Tigers, large in part because the pitching staff shut them down. After Skenes left, it was Ashcraft, Santana, Bednar, and they were all lights out. But in the second inning of the game last night, Hayes, single. He had 2 hits on the day. And then they got 2 outs. IKF walks. You've got 2 runners on now. Horwitz drives in Hayes. He had a 3-hit night, Spencer Horwitz. Maybe starting to show up a little bit. Kutch walks after that, and Brian Reynolds hits a 2-run single. That was his only hit of the night. His other 3 plate appearances, he struck out. But he made it count. 2-run single, made it 3-0, and that would finish. Andrew McCutchen did get a hit in this game. And we're going to hit the claps again because this hit passed Willie Stargell, or Kutch passed Willie Stargell on the all-time hit list. McCutchen is a special player, and I think a lot of us know that. A lot of us hold that close to us. As Pirates fans, he's many of our one of our favorite players ever, right? And he has to be. He was in the center of the 3-year run when they were actually winning during this whole stretch of years. And he was in the center of it. He won an MVP. He's been a good dude throughout the whole thing, well-liked. And when you start to look up the list of things, when you start to pass up guys like Willie Stargell and things, and you start to get, I think they said Mike Schmidt is next. These are Hall of Famers. And the hits are racking up. Now, he doesn't have 475 home runs like Willie Stargell, but I bet the doubles and the triples and the stolen bases, I bet they all line up to be maybe even more than what Stargell had. When you start looking at McCutchen, his career will be defined by the fact that when you put in his number of hits, his number of doubles, triples, homers, stolen bases, walks, when you start putting all of those things together, RBIs, got to include that. The list of guys who have done what McCutchen has done is a single-digit list. I don't know if there's a Hall of Fame case for this dude, but we're going to watch him climb up a couple more guys, maybe, as the season goes. We're going to see some more of this. And every time it's going to kind of make you think, as a fan of McCutchen, it's easy to say, man, I'd love to see him get to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's going to be there. I'd really have to listen to people who aren't this big of fans. Honestly, that's just the way it goes. But it sure is interesting, and it's a lot of fun to watch a guy like this who still is playing well, certainly not MVP level as we saw before, but come on. Nobody would expect that. But he's playing well. And it's exciting to see somebody like that achieve these certain things one more time for passing him up. So, okay. So vibes are good, right? Last night, you get a win. You got McCutchen. He's passing him up. Paul Skenes is the man. We did still just come out of that weekend. We have still an issue on our hands. We have 60 losses, right? I mean, this is a 40-61 team right now. Last place, all that thing. And I don't mean to set it all back up and say like, well, hey, we've got, we won a game. Let's just be happy. Sure. And I understand that, but these are some things that sometimes we have to talk about. So I had some thoughts earlier today, and it's worth going through. These things are going to continue to be things that we talk about. And I have to say, like, my biggest concern with the team, let me set it up for you. I think, like many of you, think Ben Cherington needs fired. And that's there. I also think, like many of you, that Travis Williams needs fired. So that's fine. If the team president, who doesn't do anything really with baseball decisions right now, and the GM who does, then all are gone, then what's next? I would think that the team would first need to hire a team president. I think that would be the first move that you would go. And this time, maybe after that, the president of baseball ops or a GM, if you even decide to hire two individuals for those two positions, but probably not here. You probably go with your GM, just does the baseball stuff. Maybe you get a guy in the team president who knows more about baseball and more about running these day-to-day things to do president of baseball ops stuff as well. But therein lies my biggest concern. Who? And who's going to hire these people? Bob Nutting has his faults. They are well documented. But if the right people were in place to run the baseball side of this thing and the team aspect of this organization, I don't believe the owner gets in the way all that much. I'm sorry, I don't. Or should get in the way. Let me clarify that. Should get in the way. Set the budget, leave the baseball to those who you've trusted to do that, which is what he's done. Unfortunately, it seems they don't see eye to eye on what they're doing. Then again, I don't know how many see eye to eye on what Ben Cherington is doing right now. So you look at the order of operations. I would think that the next president of this team would be one to carry out the hiring process of the next GM. So there's a ton of pressure right now. If this is the way they go, there would be a ton of pressure to get the right guy in the team president spot. I would expect them to have some more experience in a small market situation. I would expect them to be motivated to keep most of the pitching development in place. I mean, there's no question that that's been a strength of this club. I would also expect that they understand that there's not really time for a rebuild here. Like, the urgency's in place. I would hope that someone can gain trust from the ownership group to make investments into players, and maybe even some investments into revenue creating opportunities, not just making the experience better, but actually bringing in more money. Parking. More money goes a long way to lure some free agents in who early on you may have to overpay some free agents to convince them to come here. And I don't know that they're going to have the liberty to do that. You have to be able to do those sort of things if that's the way you want to get this thing rolling. Something has to change. Free agents are looking at this from the outside saying, I don't know. And the guys that are here, for the most part, what's really questionable right now, but over the years, the guys that have been in Pittsburgh have liked being in Pittsburgh. You will even hear some of the players who actually don't hate Bob Nutting, despite the fact that you would think they would. Gone are the days where you could sell the idea of them being part of a shift in the norm. Most guys now just want to go to a team who's good even without them. Gives them a better chance to win a ring. And they don't want to waste their time on being the guy on a team. They don't want to be the best player on a team. And right now, the Pirates really need to acquire somebody who can be their best player, unfortunately. But the pressure's on. And if you make these moves to let these two guys go, the pressure's on to hire the right guy at president. and then allow that guy to hire the right guy at GM. And that's such a big thing that I just don't know how you go about that process and trust that the person that's making the call is going to do the right thing. I think that, to me, is the biggest fault. I don't know. Despite some of our fandom impatience, when you hire a GM, you're making like a 6-year commitment. And I know that after 3 years, there were people saying, get rid of Ben Cherington. Some people never liked the signing or the hiring to begin with. But you're probably going to sign them on for 6 years. You've got to give them an opportunity. First off, we've seen this season and a little bit of last year, like what some of the success of Ben Cherington has been. Now, I'm sure you all can say, well, yeah, but the bad's outweighed the good. That's fine. But that doesn't mean we totally ignore things that have been done well. There have been some things that have been done well, namely pitching. So, I leave room for that. I can't even begin to imagine what it takes to bring a guy in knowing that he has a limited budget and a CBA looming after his first season on the job. Now, I know I'm talking as if these guys are already gone, but that's where I want to go with this. You're going to bring a guy in, you're going to hire a guy, they know the CBA is looming in 2027, and it would be like Ben Cherington knowing that COVID was about to happen. He probably doesn't take that job. It probably set him back. It's probably an unfair hand to be dealt. That's fine. The story's told, and you can't erase it. You can't just go back and say, well, then we'll give you some more years. I don't know. It just doesn't work. Maybe he got an extra year because of that. I think a lot of us think that he got an extra year that he shouldn't have gotten. So I don't know. I really hope, though, that this reason that I just brought up about the looming CBA and the fact that there's a lot of people who believe that the 27 season might not happen, or at least not a full season because of it. I hope that Bob doesn't sit and say, well, let's see what happens with the CBA. That would be my biggest fear. Well, listen, we want to make a move, but also at the same time, like, we've got this unknown coming up. I can't imagine that be the case, but would you put anything by these guys? I don't know. And I think that no matter who you bring in, there's nothing they can say at this point to win this fan base back. There's nothing that you can promise in Major League Baseball either. Nothing is given. Nothing is automatic. You cannot promise anything. So nothing you can say can win anything. You're going to have to win games. That's it. Just win games. I can actually understand, by the way, not firing Ben Cherington in season. I've said as much before. It is a difficult time. It's been done. It's been done this year. I think I'm over that to an extent, but I understand it. Like, I think it's time to move on right now, but I can say that I do understand it. If it were me, though, Travis Williams would be out the door as soon as possible. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to wait. I want more time to try to get that position filled. If you need to do both, because Cherington would know better and obviously know that it's happening, and then you just make sure you have an interim ready and you make the change and you go with an interim GM the rest of the year. But that search for a president should start immediately. That way you have a couple months to get somewhere. Even if it's just having an idea of knowing who you want or a type of person you would want, if there's other people that you would like to talk to and have to wait till the end of the year. But I would think that the wheels have to be moving sooner than later. So I know the reports that are out there about Cherington. I kind of wish that maybe it was in a different order. I don't know. I guess we'll see as the days happen. We'll see what they do. We'll see what comes of this whole thing. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. we'll be talking Pirates during Shark Week. You guys are going to hate me by the end of the week. Hey guys, we have 2 games with an opportunity to take a series from baseball's number 1 team. Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.